Good afternoon, everyone. It's David Schlotthauer here in the home weather office with another detailed tropical weather outlook and discussion for Monday, August the 14th, 2023. In this update, we are going to be looking at two areas to watch in the eastern portion of the main development region of the Atlantic. The tropics are going to get really active here, and we really got to watch things pretty closely. Now, taking a look at our true color visible satellite imagery provided by Dr. Levi Cowan at tropicaltidbits.com. There will be a link in the description below this video leading to that website where you can view these satellite images 100% for free. There's no cost whatsoever. So I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Levi Cowan at Tropical Tidbits to making this all possible. So looking at the entire Atlantic visible satellite imagery, and we can see we do have some Saharan dust, and you can really make it out really easily here. If I pause the image right about in here, when the sun angle is kind of low, you can see where all that dust is. See this? You can kind of get a little ghostly haze on the screen, and that's all that Saharan dust coming off of Africa, but it's kind of getting diluted, so it's kind of getting mixed up throughout the atmosphere because, again, dust is a little heavy, so it's going to sink to the very bottom of the atmosphere and eventually settle into the waters. So we're starting to see that happening here, and that's going to allow this activity over here in the eastern main development region to get going. And in fact, we have a pretty strong tropical wave right here getting ready to come off of Africa, probably by late this evening into the overnight hours for United States Standard Time. And that's going to be our next area that we will have to watch. And this is going to set the stage for more tropical waves that we might have quite a bit of activity developing in the Atlantic as we get closer and closer to the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season, which isn't until about September 10th through the 12th. So just kind of letting you all know that. But rolling this through, you can see there's our tropical wave activity there, the intertropical convergence zone. We have a cutoff low over the southwestern Caribbean. This is actually retrograding and moving this way. So that's going to leave kind of very light shear throughout the eastern Caribbean and out through this region as this tropical wave gets going. Nothing going on in the Gulf of Mexico at all other than the sea surface temperatures are extremely warm, pretty concerning for what's to come. So now looking at the tropical weather outlook from the National Hurricane Center, yep, there are two areas that we're watching right now. And when I update this, we can see there's a 30% chance. Let me actually move that higher so you can see with what we're seeing. There it is, 30%. Then we got a 20% chance of tropical formation just to its west. So two areas here that might get going. Now, I wanted to show you all the Eastern Pacific Basin because, again, my job is to providing you guys the detail that you all need to know about. And we got one hurricane and we got one tropical system. And if I'm able to, no, Dora's not on there anymore, but I'm sure Dora might still be a typhoon or might be just below that from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. If it is, we have two hurricanes, technically speaking, out there in the Pacific right now in our books. Fernanda, Category 4 hurricane right now. Greg, way over here in the Central Pacific. Let's actually shift that. 40-mile-an-hour winds getting ready to cross into the Central Pacific, where the Central Pacific Hurricane Center usually monitors at. We got another area that we're watching too, riding along the central Mexico coast into Baja California. This could become our next major hurricane, perhaps within the next 3 to 5 days, as this moves off towards the west-northwest. And then another disturbance getting ready here in the next 7 days. So a really, really busy Eastern Pacific. And when it's busy here, it's typically quiet in the Atlantic. But this gives us a sign, or gives us an idea, that the Atlantic will soon wake up out of its sleepyhead phase. Well, not really a sleepyhead phase, but it's in its dormant state, where we have had very little in the way of tropical activity here over the last 3 to almost 4 weeks. Now, this actually, let's take a look at the models first, and then we're going to be looking at sea surface temperatures. That's why this is here. Okay, so the European model, I'm going to go through this as quickly and detailed as I can possible. So what I always like to do is kind of show you all what we're looking at here from tropicaltidbits.com on the Euro model. So what we're looking at here is 3 different plots at 850 millibars. This is at 5,000 feet in the atmosphere. So if you imagine the atmosphere, of course, it's in 3-dimensional, right? You can go up, you can go straight, you can go back, you can go to the left and right. It's 3-dimensional. It's not 2D. So 850 millibars in the atmosphere is a pressure level, and that's usually in the low levels. That's at 5,000 feet. Then you get the 700 millibar level. That's at 10,000 feet. Then you get the 500 millibar level. That's at about 8,000, maybe not 8,000, 18,000, 19,000 feet into the atmosphere. And when you get up to 200 millibars, that's really high up there. So when you hear about millibars here, we're looking at different levels of the atmosphere. And so this is the 850 millibar geopotential height, and what this is, these are lines. See the lines that I have here? This is actually geopotential heights at 850 millibars, okay? And there's your value, 160 decameters, 158 decameters, which it's actually really 1,600 decameters, or in meters, if you take away the 0 there. And then you got 1580, and then you get that, so on and so forth. So here are your geopotential heights, and then what we have here is these little flags. See this? Little bit of an education purpose. Oh, I didn't do good on that one. Let me try a little bit better. But here are your wind flags. They kind of go out like this. Here's another flag that I'm drawing up. See these little flags right here? Hopefully y'all can follow me on that. That's showing you which way the wind is blowing from. So what we're seeing here is that the wind is blowing from the northeasterly direction. So we got the wind doing this at 850 millibars. You got this strong subtropical ridge here positioned in the right around the Bermuda Azores area. So we got a strong ridge that is in place right here, and everything goes around it like this. Okay, basically it's a ridge of high pressure in the low levels. Now what you see here is the 850 millibar vorticity plot. So this is the amount of spin there is in the atmosphere. Okay, so when we get these red, orange colors, so in other words, what we're looking for here, let me just go forward this really quickly. So what we're looking for is something that looks like that. See that orange, that red? That's vorticity being concentrated, okay? And when it gets concentrated with a couple of these height lines that are closed, these thicknesses, we usually refer that to as a tropical depression in the tropics or a tropical storm. We have a tropical wave right here, okay, moving into the Gulf of Mexico. A tropical wave is not a tropical depression. Hopefully you all realize that, okay? So I hope you all are following me on that. So now we're going to kind of take this forward, and let's see with what we get out of the Euro model on the 12Z forecast. So let's go forward here. We're going to stop at 48 hours out. You can see a nice looking big tropical wave here. That's what we're watching off of Africa. It's broad, but we'll see if any of these areas, does this come together? Does this up here come together? Does this even come together? There's 3 little areas that the Euro is having a hard time pinpointing exactly which area is going to kind of close off and kind of consolidate. Looks like that area right over here consolidates. We might have another area of consolidation here, maybe another area over here. A really, really active ITCZ or intertropical convergence zone that is in place. Going forward, you can see right there, maybe a signature of a tropical depression because we can see the vorticity there. We can see a couple of closed thickness lines. We can even see some wind barbs over here. This is why I like this plot from Dr. Levi Cowan. You get some of these plots here with winds that are out of the westerly direction. So maybe a low-grade tropical depression here. And that's about day 6. This is day 7. Nice-looking tropical wave here over the Gulf of Mexico. Let me actually highlight that very nicely. So there's a tropical wave there. There is our area of interest that we're watching. But otherwise, there's not really a lot going on after that. But of course, that's based on now casting, based on what the Euro thinks right now. We might see other areas by this time, because this is August 24th. And usually, that's when we really are in the huge ramp up of climatology as far as the Atlantic hurricane season goes. Now, we're going to look at the deep layer moisture plot here. This is from 700 millibars, so again, that level in the atmosphere. So this is from 10,000 feet up to about, say, 33,000 feet high. That's the 300 millibar layer. And what these colors represent is dry air. So all this brown that you see, not much moisture in the atmosphere. The air is really dry. There's subsidence, just not favorable. And you know, if you've been following me for a while here, I've said in many times that when you get a tropical wave that tries to form and you get this dry air that comes into that wave, it's not going to develop. There is just, you know, the dry air is poison. Okay, it's kind of like poison. Oh, let's see if there's other neurotoxins out there that I can think of. Can't think of many right now, but it's like snake venom. In other words, it's just poison for these systems to have a lot of this dry air in the way. You can see some of the dry air moving into the Caribbean here, so not much convection here for this afternoon. And this is also showing you the pressure level, or the surface pressures, as you can see. 1,024, 1,020 millibars. You can see the surface high there, and the surface winds in the wind barbs. So very helpful. I really like this. And then there will be another plot or another product that I use when we actually track these systems. So let's go and let's see what happens here. So let's go forward. This is day 3, day 4. That's day 4 right there. I mean, just too dry out here. Just lots of inhibitors. Some shear, lots and lots of dry air. But we all know that's going to kind of be abating, as we can see towards the end of the model forecast out to 180 hours out, which is as far as I go. You can see lesser dry air, more of those relative humidities are right around 60 to 70%, which is almost needed for tropical waves. Not much dry air out there, and the pattern is going to likely change once we get closer and closer to August 21st and the 22nd, which is typically when we really ramp things up. Now, looking at the GFS vorticity plot, again, the same layer of the atmosphere, only on a different model perspective. We can see there is that vorticity maximum. Let's see what the GFS shows. Let's put this out to 4 days. Look at it wants to do something with that piece of energy that the Euro is also showing. This whole area here. By day 5, we can see where the vorticity max actually is here. Yep, that is a signature, folks, of a tropical depression. If we just look at the GFS, right? Let's see with what the previous runs actually showed. So if we go back in time, yeah, man, this one model right here, this is from yesterday afternoon. Wow, that is signatures of 2 tropical storms, perhaps. But of course, the GFS is going to try to, you know, go crazy with what it sees. You know, it's called Fantasyland, not really Fantasyland at 5 days. So we have a pretty good idea. We're going to probably have one area of consolidation that kind of just falls apart, because why? There's a little bit of shear and there is dry air in the way. But that's not it, because look what we might have. Let's look at this. Ooh, I'm actually out to 10 days. Let's just kind of stop it here at 180 hours out, because that is literally the farthest I'm gonna comfortably go out. Because the further you go out, folks, you're just in fantasy land. You really are. And the NHC, for a reason, goes out to 7 days. I'm only gonna go out to 7 days with my forecast. Other YouTubers will risk going out to 384 hours out, which I'll tell you right now ahead of time, it is showing a violent hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. Let's just put it that way right now. But we're not going to believe it until it hits my radar. And that's not going to be, of course, for a while, since it's really far out in time. But yeah, we have another area. This is not that system, by the way. This is the one before what might develop down here eventually. But you get the idea. Yep, the tropics are waking up. And that means, what does David do? Keep you guys updated. So here's a look at the Canadian model. This goes out to 10 days. But again, we're only going to go out to about 180 hours out, which is about 7 to 8 days from today. So let's kind of play this through. Now, the Canadian model wants two areas. This area and this area to go Willy Wonka. We got another tropical wave coming off of Africa. So 3 areas to watch on this. This is day 5. And look what we get. Maybe a tropical storm, or if not, a hurricane on this model out to 7 days. This would be August the 21st. That tropical wave there coming off of Africa. Then look what happens in the Gulf of Mexico. We shall see. We shall see what model is going to win out. Is the Canadian onto something? The GFS onto something? Or is the Euro this whole time onto something? We're going to wait and see, because this would be a very busy period coming up for the 21st of August. And you guys are probably looking at me at this and be like, oh, now it decides to get active. You know why it gets active at this time of the year? Because it's climatology. I mean, I'm telling you, we're not supposed to have major hurricanes in late July or early August. Usually that's in the second half of August, so that's usually the 21st and the 22nd and beyond, which we really got to start watching for any development of tropical storms, hurricanes, or if not major hurricanes. So maybe the Canadian is beginning to show something. That's why the NHC over here, let's go back, they have those 2 areas to watch. There's enough confidence, so we'll see where one of those areas goes, since it's in our radar. All right, so let's take a look at the Gulf of Mexico. I'm gonna be as simple, so my videos are not very long here, because I know you guys are probably tired of my videos being 35 or whatever, 40 minutes long. But I want to show you all this. These water temperatures, simple way to put it, are ridiculous. Ironically warm. Very concerning. All I'm going to say is, if we get anything that moves through this area, so like let's just say a tropical system from the monsoon gyre or the Central American gyre is able to kind of pivot up, move this way, and then kind of do that, or let's just say it kind of wants to move along the coast here of the Yucatan and kind of slingshot it into Florida, or maybe we get a Cape Verde system as a tropical depression or something, and then it moves into the Gulf here. I'm just telling you right now that if we get anything moving into the Gulf, if the environment is conducive, we get upward motion, these convective coupled Kelvin waves that move and they slide right over the Gulf in the Caribbean, and we get a lot of moisture, very little in the way of shear. All I have to say is look out. Look out, because the Gulf is favorable, and I'm going to repeat myself right now, is extremely favorable as far as sea surface temperatures go to allow violent hurricanes, total devastation like what we saw with Ian, like what we saw with Harvey, let's see, Michael, Laura, I mean, Sally, you get the idea. Very intense, devastating systems, because the Gulf was really warm at the time. But now it's only warmer, and I mean right along the coast here of Tampa, Cape Coral here in Florida. Water temperatures approaching 33 Celsius. That is low 90s. I'm telling you, if anything moves into the Gulf, you better hope it doesn't. Because if it does, you better evacuate. That's all I gotta say. I'm not here to scare you all. I'm not here to cause fear-mongering. Not here for that. But I'm telling you how I see it, and I'm gonna tell you how you need to see it too. So the Gulf right now, exceptionally warm. That is a guarantee. There's no question about it. It's enough to support violent hurricanes without just second guessing. It's only about, does the atmosphere cooperate? That's the only thing that we're missing right now. But you better hope it doesn't. So looking at the Euro ensemble forecast, this is the ECMWF ensemble output here from last night. I know these take forever to render. Let me see if we actually got a new, any new data out of the ensemble forecast. And we do. Hooray, right on cue. I love that. I just love how it all works with me. And this is what we got as of today's model output. And I'm actually going to compare you from last night. So this is 0Z. This is the next 10 days, by the way. Or the next 7 days, my bad. We can see, yeah, the Euro is pinpointing something, and even something in the Gulf. Let's take a look at this now. Yeah, I mean, there is a couple of clusters here indicating maybe something moving into the Caribbean, and of course a fish storm, and then maybe something into the Gulf. Now, what you're seeing does not mean it's going to happen. I want to make that clear with you all, okay? I want to clear up confusion here, because there's a reason why you love to return and watch my videos all the time. It's because I provide really accurate, or at least I try to. Not all of us as forecasters could be 100% accurate, but we try our best, right? We could only go off based on what the ensembles, what the operational models show. But what you're seeing here is different members, okay, that run the operational Euro model, okay? So I'm going to kind of shout out a few people that I really know a lot that follow me on YouTube. Alec Baller, which is out of Miami, Florida, Pat's Path Predictor, Ethan B, Sheriff Boy that follows me on YouTube and on Discord, and also on Twitter. These are different people that have their different opinions. So what I'm trying to illustrate here is that let's just pretend Pat's Path Predictor is this low pressure that is at 945 millibars. And let's say Alec Baller is this member right here at 964. And then let's just say there's another member right over here at 1005 millibars. All right, that's basically the Sheriff Boy model member. We're just kind of, or Ethan B. We'll just use Ethan B here simply. All right, so they all have different opinions of what might happen based on the atmosphere. Think about it this way. The atmosphere is ran through 50 different times for the ensembles to go, for one member to look off of. Okay, so it's kind of rerunning through like, okay, member 1 shows this, member 2 shows this. What if? These are 50 different what if situations. What if the high is weaker? What if it's stronger? What if the air is drier? What if the air is more moist? What if there's less shear? What if there's more shear, right? There's a lot of what ifs here. And right now, there's a lot of these members here indicating a tropical storm in the next 7 days, approaching the north or the eastern Caribbean and across the southwestern Atlantic. Even so, let me repeat myself, even so, the operational model does not indicate anything. Let's just kind of think about that. All right, so pretty aggressive here on the Euro ensemble forecast out to 7 days. Pretty bullish here with a lot of tropical storm-like member runs, which means we might see a tropical storm in here. Not a guarantee, but the ensembles give us an idea what might end up happening. Okay, I I sure hope I did a good job. I mean, you guys gotta give me a huge shout out, like literally. Let me know in the comment section on letting me know how I did in this video, because I try my best at explaining things as good as I can to the best of my knowledge. I'm sure I'm not the best out there. There's probably people better than me, but I try to clear the confusion up so you all are ready for what's to come, because we saw it on the ensembles just now. It's about to get busy, and I'm afraid once it gets busy, it's probably going to continue through much of September and into October. Okay, that's going to do it with this video. Now, before I do end it, don't go, you guys. Did I say to click off this video? No, I didn't, right? I wanted to let you all know that Pat's Path Predictor is going to volunteer and help me make my videos. So he's probably going to upload on my YouTube channel because there is some serious... there is a lot going on with my family. Nothing too bad. Just my grandpa is deteriorating. I just wanted to make that clear with you all so you guys understand why you may not see me every day, but you'll see someone every day, at least a video every day on the channel. But I just wanted to make sure you all understand that if I'm not here on a certain day, that's just because either I'm taking care of my grandpa that is not doing very good right now. I'm not going to go into full detail, but because I don't think my grandma really wants me to kind of go into full detail about this. But long story short, we don't expect him to live very much longer. All right. And it's really hard on me just hearing about that and everything. And so that's why I wasn't able to upload yesterday. And I'm going to try my best, folks, at uploading every day. But if not, Pat's Path Predictor will take my place kind of off and on to make sure we have a video out at least every day on the tropics, because he seems really good at what he does. And so I hope you all understand that. This happened really quickly within just a matter of the last week that my grandpa is deteriorating. He's just not going to get any better. We hope that he does, but the chances are decreasing on that. So I hope you all understand with what I'm going through. I don't like sharing life issues here on the channel, but I thought that would be better so you all understand that. Whoa, where's David at? Why hasn't he uploaded for the last couple of days? Wait, why is Pat's Path Predictor uploading for David? You kind of understand now why that's going to be the case. All right, well, anyways, I sure hope you all liked this. If you guys did, please consider subscribing, sharing, and liking, and I'll be back with you, hopefully, fingers crossed, tomorrow. Again, one day at a time with my grandpa and my grandma at this point. All right, I love you guys. I care about you all. And yeah, see you back here tomorrow.